Well, I got a divorce and went into therapy.
Did everything.
Let's just end everything and then start new.
Yeah.
From the time we first saw Rachel Green on Friends, her comedy and appeal captured us. Behind the cherished figure, however, is a tale of great personal suffering. At 55, Jennifer Aniston now has at last revealed the terrible secret she had been carrying for decades. Childhood for Jennifer was a disaster. Jennifer cut off relations with her mother, a model, for 15 years as her mother was emotionally detached and mercilessly judgmental, leaving scars so deep. This disclosure forces us to reconsider what we knew about her life. Was Brad Pitt really the monster the media portrayed? Why did her seemingly ideal marriage go apart? And maybe the most moving question of all, why has she battled to have children? Come discover the portion of Jennifer Aniston's life that has stayed in the shadows until now. Find the power and resiliency in her brilliant grin as well as the moving path of a lady who has gracefully and honorably gone through unthinkable grief. Confined childhood. Though Jennifer Aniston is a Hollywood celebrity today, her upbringing was not at all glitzy. Jennifer's early years were everything but perfect. She was born in California in 1969 to actress parents of Greek ancestry. When her father scored a part in a hit soap opera, the family's relocation to New York City represented a major turning point. Jennifer's home life was chaotic even as she savored the thrill of the city. Her parents' ongoing arguments made her feel as if she was responsible. She resorted to comedy and goofiness in an attempt to make everyone happy, which sparked her love of performing. But laughing couldn't fix anything. Jennifer's father disappeared for a while and her parents separated when she was 9, therefore destroying her belief in happily ever after. Her connection with Nancy, her mother, was even more tense. Nancy, who gave appearances much importance, left emotional wounds by continually criticizing Jennifer about her appearance and pushing her to apply cosmetics. Jennifer finally came to see her mother's intentions despite the pain, juggling job and money concerns to provide for her children. Nancy was a single mother. Jennifer understood that her mother's critical remarks stemmed from a place of love and concern molded by her own background. "My mom was not trying to be nasty," Jennifer said. "It was just how she was raised." Jennifer visited her father in Los Angeles, where he was featured in the soap opera Days of Our Lives on occasion throughout her youth. Her turbulent life in New York contrasted with these trips shaped her complicated opinions on family and love. Maybe those visits out west and with 2 actor parents sparked Jennifer's ambition to pursue acting herself. Her strong suit was never school. She would frequently joke about a hidden society of instructors who couldn't tolerate her. The one exception was art class when one of her works found residence in a museum. Jennifer Aniston's path from a stormy upbringing to a Hollywood celebrity is evidence of her will and fortitude. Her early years left emotional scars, but her love of acting gave her resilience and turned her suffering into an incredible profession that inspires millions of people now. Jennifer struggled academically, but her knack for acting and charisma were clear. She started the school theater group at age 11 and was enthralled with the great Laurence Olivier, thinking of one day collaborating with him. Her heart was crushed upon his death. At 13, her dad got her a little bit as an extra on his soap opera, and it was a turning point. Even the little trip on set excited her. Her dad told her on the drive home that her part had only come because another girl had been bumped for her. Jennifer felt ashamed because her little time in the limelight had cost someone else. Her first experience of the competitive aspect of show business was nothing is given to you and you have to battle for every chance. Her parents were concerned about the possibility of heartache. Jennifer was determined. Moving out of her parents' house signaled a new phase. Her relationship with her mother, Nancy, had always been turbulent and would get worse later on. Jennifer is eager to choose her own path and is mostly focused on her aspirations. First acts in performing. 1988 saw Jennifer Aniston start her acting career on public theater's stage. She remembers one very memorable performance in which she had a basic scene including sitting, staring at the audience, and delivering a single phrase. That statement usually garnered a chuckle, and one evening she peered out into the rows and spotted the great actor Al Pacino belly laughing. He was there with Diane Keaton. For Jennifer, it was a moment to remember. Making someone like Al Pacino laugh drove her aspirations for years. But when the theater failed to pay the bills, Jennifer, like many other aspirant performers, had to hustle, juggling auditions and shifts. She was a waitress at Jackson Hole's Cafe. She found she had dyslexia, a common learning problem that made reading and writing extremely difficult, aged 20. This diagnosis set everything in motion. Suddenly, all those years of believing she just lacked intelligence made sense. She felt as if a weight had been taken off her shoulders, allowing her to see herself and her strengths fresh. Jennifer was not alone. Stars like Keanu Reeves go through dyslexia's challenges even in Hollywood. Her first film job was sadly so little that she hardly even got her name in the credits. Though it was a sci-fi adventure movie, Mac and Me was just the beginning. A short stop on a much more expansive trip. Jennifer was advertising Nutrisystem on The Howard Stern Show the following year. After 2 years in New York, she moved to Los Angeles. Theater jobs were drying up. She began landing some TV assignments in 1989, but her first few shows, comforts like Malloy and Ferris Bueller, fizzled away before ever truly gathering steam. Following a brief appearance in TV movies, Jennifer won a part in the 1993 horror film Leprechaun. Though reviewers hated the film, over time it somehow became a cult masterpiece. Still, after Leprechaun, casting directors began giving Jennifer more thought. She made a couple more TV appearances till at last the Rachel Green path came along, transforming everything. Originally intending Jennifer Aniston for the Monica Geller role, the Friends creators read the screenplay and Jennifer felt a deep connection to Rachel, the only part she desired. Courtney Cox had developed feelings for Monica in meanwhile. That turn of events was ideal. Still, grabbing Rachel's part was not like walking in a park. Jennifer was already starring in a CBS series called Muddling Through at the time. Not very popular. She virtually begged the NBC executives to allow her to participate because she had a gut sense that Friends would be a smash. They gambled on her. But Jennifer had to record the pilot episode without any assurances while also managing her part on another program. Then, in what would appear to be a rather merciless action, NBC purposefully set a Danielle Steele film to premiere exactly at the same time as Muddling Through Jennifer's show Tank's numbers collapsed. And she was free to totally commit to Friends just like that. Although the famous Friends opening sequence is beloved by fans, the performers do not share precisely the same sentiments. Jimmy Burrows, the director of the production, brought the 6 principal cast members to Las Vegas for a brief vacation before everything descended, telling them to appreciate the times as their lives were about to alter drastically. He offered them some kind of fatherly counsel, warning that it would be the last time they could stroll into a casino without being harassed. He even handed everyone $100 to spend. Dinner was shared at Caesar's Palace, a unique final meal before the frenzy of celebrity. Jimmy Burrows made the correct observation. Friends debuted in 1994 and got really popular very fast. Audiences found great resonance in the basic concept of tracking the life of 6 New York City pals. The performers portraying that famous ensemble became household names overnight. Jennifer recalls that the first year during repeats we soared to number 1. She was just conducting errands, picking toilet paper and tampons one day when several admirers hurriedly rushed her to get her autograph. That marked the start of a whole different planet. Millions of women worldwide modeled Rachel Green's well-known layered hairdo. Jennifer herself, however, detested it sarcastically. Her hairstylist apparently just wasn't very good at what he did. Not always easy to handle was the unexpected glory. Everywhere the young stars were followed by cameras, everyone appeared fixated on the minute elements of their life. Jennifer was still taken aback by the enormous scope of Friends' popularity after years of performing on the program. Growing up surrounded by performers, it was difficult to understand exactly how successful the comedy had become. She says that her mother, Nancy's encouragement was one of the things keeping her sane. Jennifer never allowed the wild attention to get to her or swing out in anger. She knew she didn't want to be like her mother, who she had witnessed acting spiteful and bitter. Her connection with Nancy sadly deteriorated over time. In 1996, Nancy revealed all kinds of personal information about Jennifer's life in a very open and not-so-flattering interview with a tabloid program. therefore breaching a breaking point. But Nancy's publishing a memoir, From Mother and Daughter to Friends, a tell-all book, marked the final straw. Jennifer stopped communicating with her mother for 15 years, and the damage from that betrayal went deep. Still, let me return to Friends. The great popularity of the program resulted from a winning mix of elements, a relevant concept, good authors, and talented performers in a precisely cast ensemble. David Schwimmer recalls a particular spark from the initial sessions. It's difficult enough to find one actor who really inhabits a part. However, to find 6 and create that synergy amongst them is rather unique. Some of the most poignant and funny scenes on the show came from the writers, encouraging the players to really embrace their roles and even provide suggestions. The borders between fiction and reality blurring during filming. The performers started to be actual friends. Lisa Kudrow remembers how, during their first season, Jimmy, the show's director, urged them to hang out in his dressing room. They connected fast because the success of the play depended on that relationship. They ate, played poker, and just lounged together. It was like having a support group, a tiny bubble of protection from the madness of instant celebrity. The players formed a kind of mini-union when they agreed at one point to handle the commercial side of affairs together. Their pay at first varied, but as contract discussions progressed, they asked that all 6 friends be paid equally. They were each making a cool $100,000 per episode after the 6th season. By the last season, the number surged to a shockingly $1 million per episode. Jennifer, Lisa Kudrow, and Courtney Cox are in the Guinness Book of Records as the most paid TV stars of all time from this action. Jennifer's performance in Friends won her praise as well as making her a fan favorite. She was nominated for an Emmy many times and won a Screen Actors Guild Award, therefore bringing home the trophy in 2002. She also received a Golden Globe in 2003. Funny how sometimes the boundaries separating reality from the show cross. Recall that Joey purchases in one episode a large monument of a dog. Jennifer truly owned it. At the beginning of shooting Friends, a friend had given her it as a lucky charm. Speaking of serendipity, Jennifer ran upon actor Tate Donovan on the 4th season shooting of the program. Their characters were only momentarily engaged, yet the on-screen relationship found expression in real life. Their relationship ran from 1995 to 1998. Many people saw Tate as Jennifer's first real love. Though there were speculations, they were even engaged. The wedding planning fell off, and finally, they decided to call it quits. Jennifer made time to see several movies even with her hectic Friends schedule. Regretfully, not all of them were victors. Her performance in the 1996 movie She's the One really earned her a Golden Raspberry nomination for Worst New Star. Her popularity on Friends led to largely humorous parts in movies like Dream for an Insomniac and Till There Was You. Her first major break in a non-comedy film occurred in 1997 with the romantic drama Picture Perfect. Though the movie received mixed reviews overall, Jennifer's performance was highly appreciated. Around the same time, another dramatic romance, The Object of My Affection, emerged, but it was another bomb with critics. Jennifer began dating Paul Rudd, her fellow star, on the set. Though they were excellent friends and even collaborated later on, the romance regrettably faded out quite fast. Paul had appearances in Friends, and they both featured in Wanderlust in 2012. Lover's Narrative. Jennifer Aniston's personal life was moving at an amazing speed parallel to her growing business. 1998 was the beginning of a fatal meeting when her agency set up a date with none other than Brad Pitt, igniting one of Hollywood's most spectacular relationships. Fascinatingly, Jennifer and Brad had briefly crossed paths in the early 1990s, but their separate obligations discouraged any romantic impulses. But destiny once again interfered, bringing them together years later on a blind date when clearly sparks flew between them. Their romance moved quickly, but they decided to wait before announcing their relationship so that their connection could grow naturally. Their first public appearance as a couple graced the September 1999 Emmy Awards stage. Then, during a Sting performance, bystanders saw Jennifer's stunning engagement ring, a masterwork created by none other than Brad himself. In several interviews, Bradley complimented Jennifer, calling her the living embodiment of his aspirations. Believing in their destined marriage, they quickly climbed to the highest levels of Hollywood's esteemed power couples. In honor of their close relationship, 2002 saw Jennifer and Brad start Plan B Entertainment, a production firm teamed with acclaimed producer Brad Gray. Wanting to show they were professional filmmakers rather than simply actors with flashy side ventures, Jennifer acknowledged initially they kept the firm under wraps. With movies like Troy and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in development by 2004, the business was booming. Though Jennifer and Brad were called among Hollywood's hottest couples, they gently disagreed. They said they were simply a couple of goofballs more likely to be spotted in their jammies than looking elegant. They hitched the marriage in a magnificent Malibu house wedding, allegedly costing a cool $1 million on July 29, 2000. Surprisingly few pictures of the actual event abound, even with all that money invested. Visitors recall being surrounded by 50,000 flowers and a brilliant $20,000 fireworks show. Their wedding vows were humorous. Jennifer pledged to have Brad's preferred banana smoothie on hand, and he swore to become masterful with the thermostat. Jennifer sadly declined to invite her mother to the wedding, wanting no family strife to sour her big day. The couple retreated into their elegant Beverly Hills property after a wonderful honeymoon in the Seychelles. Jennifer made jokes about their different decorating philosophies. He was less passionate. He adored contemporary. Brad even had a light-hearted appearance on Friends in 2001 as a man disgusted with Rachel Green. Jennifer understood, deep down, that the Friends' charm was transient. Before Rachel became a depressed parody of herself, she wanted to go while the public still loved her. She was also feeling the need to take on new responsibilities. Eventually, the makers of the program agreed to a smaller last season, therefore securing Jennifer's contract. For millions of devoted viewers hooked to their TVs, the final episode of Friends broadcast in May 2004 was a mixed bag. One of the largest television events in years, around 52 million people tuned in. Every cast member grabbed a little of the false pavement outside Central Perk as a memento, their small chunk of TV history. Years later, Jennifer spoke about the unique relationship among the actors and battled tears. She recalled, "We really loved and supported one another. Friends of people told her helped them through difficult circumstances, including illness. The straightforward appeal of the play was potent soul medication." She thought that maybe its great longevity was the absence of phones and distractions, just people seated around and really engaged in conversation, ready to distance herself from Rachel. Jennifer yearned for a lengthy trip and a family. She said, wanting to see the world before the baby arrived. But life took a turn around for us. Shockingly, one of Hollywood's golden couples, Jen and Brad, were headed for divorce in January of 2005. Shocked and wondering what went wrong, were fans. The rumor mill went on full speed and pointed the blame right away at Angelina Jolie. Brad and Angelina had met in the espionage thriller Mr. and Mrs. Smith, blazing up the screen. The reality is still a little foggy. Some claim that conflict was developing in Jen and Brad's marriage even before the shooting began, and Angelina just drove Brad closer to a choice he had already been considering. They cited past interviews when Jennifer seemed a little dubious. Though they did share something unique, maybe he was not the love of her life. Others saw the shock of Angelina destroying a great fit. Her former reputation as a man-eater most definitely had no effect on anything. There is a raging argument about this even now. Was fundamental incompatibility in the relationship all along? Or was it alluring Angelina who drew Brad away? On Jennifer, the parting was clearly difficult. She isolated herself in her Malibu house, the only company coming from her devoted dog, Norman. Desperate to hear the juicy facts of the divorce, she remained clear of the news and away from the media frenzy and rush of fan reactions. Fans practically chose sides when things became so wild. Team Aniston and Team Jolie t-shirts were everywhere, outlacing their competitors, 25-1. Team Aniston looked to be winning, but Jennifer would have found that to be just cold comfort. She called the paparazzi the rats. They were unrelenting in their pursuit of a picture of her appearing devastated and alone. The tabloids brimmed with ridiculous ideas. One report even said Brad left her as she didn't want children. totally disregarding Jennifer's previous comments about wanting to create a family. Jennifer would find this rather stinging. She fumed in a frank, honest interview with Vanity Fair. A guy divorcing would never be accused of putting their career above children. That really infuriated me. I have always desired children. Hence, I would never give up that experience for a job. Her fantasy was to have a family and all prosperity, still full of love and respect. Brad and Jen maintained they were leaving amicably, but it was difficult, particularly when pictures of Brad running on the Kenyan beach with Angelina and her baby Maddox leaked into publications that same year. In 2006, Brangelina announced she was expecting a child. Jennifer admitted, "I was astonished." The world was horrified. Her friend Andrea Bendewald recalled how difficult it was for Jennifer to watch Brad move on so swiftly and so openly. Jennifer relied mostly on therapy, yoga, and the unwavering support of her closest friends through it all. Her lifeline while she negotiated the choppy waves of divorce was those connections. 2005 was a difficult year generally. Her personal life was merely one area of suffering. She attempted to leave her customary cheery parts, but fate had other ideas. Bad reviews and a complete box office failure befall rumor has it as well. With the dramatic comedy The Breakup in 2006, things began to look somewhat better. Her character was having trouble in her relationship, which shockingly reflected her real situation. Though the movie fared monetarily well and appealed to spectators, critics were not fans. Her co-star Vince Vaughn helped her to earn a Teen Choice Award for their on-screen connection. That inspired real-life romance enthusiasts known as Aniston to create analogs to Brangelina. The connection faded out, sadly. Jennifer recovered in 2008 working with none other than musician John Mayer. Mayer says it was more than simply a passing affair. Though evidently not powerful enough to keep him loyal, he really felt something for her. Jennifer was naturally devastated when he came clean about cheating on vacation in Mexico. Jennifer was not having it when John pleaded for pardon. She drew on her love of performing. Meantime, to mend her heart, she had a cameo appearance in the comedy Cougar Town in 2010, stars of which included her closest friend, Courtney Cox. Even after Friends ended, the two stayed very close. Jennifer even started calling Courtney's daughter Coco Godmother. Although both of them have had their fair share of failed marriages and career swings, their relationship is always a great comfort. As Jennifer says, the court is just a place for unwavering love and allegiance. No judgment exists. In May of 2011, Jennifer discovered love once again with screenwriter, actor, and director Justin Theroux. When the couple paid nearly $22 million for a large house in Los Angeles' hip Bel Air area the following January, things appeared serious. They first revealed their engagement in August 2012, and then married the knot at their home on August 5, 2015, in a private ceremony. Their marriage sadly wasn't meant to continue, and at the end of 2017, they announced their divorce. Jennifer Aniston's life appeared to most people like a Hollywood dream come true. Jennifer's lifetime ambition. Public life for Jennifer Aniston was filled with celebrity, wealth, and adored performances in hit shows. But underneath the sparkling surface of her Hollywood image, she had a deep yearning, a secret desire for more inner satisfaction. A beloved position she had long dreamed of. Motherhood seemed to fade with every year. Her suffering was exacerbated by finding herself caught in an unrelenting loop of whispers and inspection. Every tabloid cover speculated about phantom pregnancy bulge, and every question from a well-meaning reporter about her family plans seemed like a new-cut reopening. Jennifer had the bravery to break her silence in 2016 by means of her moving article For the Record. She not only advocated for anonymity, but also released a deafening scream against the relentless scrutiny and judgment women experience. She said, her remarks full of real emotion and indignation. The media's portrayal of me is merely a reflection of our society's views on women. Years later, Jennifer removed even another layer of her narrative in a moving interview with Allure magazine, exposing the great suffering she had silently. She had survived the tempest of baby rumors and constant conjecture while frantically looking at every path to begin a family. Nothing appealed in IVF procedures, herbal teas, or alternative remedies. It was terrible, she said. eyes showing the depth of her grief. I would have given everything for someone to have said, "Freeze your eggs, do yourself a favor," but it never crossed my mind. Still, Jennifer's voice speaks with a subdued will among the pain. She is a whole person bursting with love, skill, and a lifetime of experiences, not defined by one unmet need. By her courageous confession, she gives many women negotiating similar challenges hope and comfort, knowing they are not alone. Hearing Jennifer Aniston's moving story makes you feel what? Kindly leave comments below reflecting your ideas. Think about liking and following my YouTube channel if this video spoke to you.